What is up, everyone? It is that time again. Time for another random comic books review with yours truly, Corey James, co-host of the Strange Planet podcast, which you can check out on Wednesdays on the Suicide Moses Productions channel on YouTube. If you're already watching this, you're probably already on the channel. But are you a subscriber? If not, click the little subscribe button. Click the bell, get some notifications, see when we put up new content. We got the Strange Planet podcast on Wednesdays. We got the Wrestling Roundup with my co-host on the Strange Planet podcast, Anthony Zevatek. It's on Fridays. And then we have this lovely show every Sunday morning for you guys talking about comic books. So, we got this week, we got a trailer for the season 3 of the new Daredevil show on Netflix, which I am a huge fan of. The trailer was amazing. I can't wait for this new season. It looks great. Looks like it's loosely based on the Mother Maggie story arc, and the I can't remember the story arc, what it's called, where he dons his black suit, the black and red Daredevil suit, and gets a little bit more brutal. I think it's more based on when Frank Miller stepped in towards the end. I think like issue 160 something through 181. But so after the Daredevil run started kind of petering out in popularity, they had Frank Miller step in, and he took it into a darker, grittier, where he always takes his comics, his style. So I'm assuming they let him start the story arc over again and do his own run through of Daredevil Man Without Fear. And so I checked out issues 1 through 5, the origin, basically. I just finished reading it like 10 minutes ago. Let me read one little excerpt here. By the time the cops arrived, Matt is gone, leaving a mystery and the first rumblings of a legend. Daredevil. The name is to be heard again from quivering thugs and from grateful victims. Daredevil. It is the name of shadowed demon, an unseen avenger, a silent, invisible savior of the innocent. Daredevil. Okay, so Daredevil is... I just had the date. It ran from the 1960s to the 2010, so holy cow. Frank Miller is the writer. John Romita Jr. was doing the artwork for these issues that I read. You can't go wrong with Frank Miller. His artwork is, he's one of the top writers of all time. We got Sin City, you got The Dark Knight. I'm not sure, Watchmen? Is the Watchmen Frank Miller? I think it might be. But, and John Romita Jr., one of the greatest artists of all time in comic book history. So, like, those two right there, you know you're going to get a good comic book. Plus, if you're a huge Daredevil fan, which I am, this is a great, great run to get. Basically, so I'm going to do a lot of comparisons here to the show that's going right now and the Ben Affleck movie, because what else do we have to compare it to live action wise? Surprisingly, I noticed that almost panel for panel, the Ben Affleck movie was shot for shot, almost panel for panel. They did change a good bit, and just as in the show, a lot of stuff was changed, but I feel like the show took a literal pages and made it better. I would like to know why the decision was made in the movie to not include Stick. He's a huge part of the story arc and why Matt becomes Daredevil, and he wasn't in the movie, and that's odd to me. It makes it seem a little bit weird that he becomes Daredevil just out of nowhere for no reason. I liked that in the show they added him in and showed why a young kid was trained and became a badass and became a superhero. Some differences I noticed. I'd be pretty pissed. It seems to me that Stick is the cause of Matt's accident. Um, they show him. This is pretty cool. They show Matt before he had the accident, and he already. They show that he is mischievous. He puts a mask on. He steals like a club from a cop and skates away and stuff like that to get that adrenaline rush. So you don't see that in a lot of the story arcs. It seems like he doesn't start getting his itch to become a fighter and become a hero till after he has his accidents, which I always thought was weird. Like, why would you become blind and then want to learn how to fight? Like, his dad was a fighter when he was young. Wouldn't he already have that in him that he wants to do? So, so Stick's watching him before he has the accident, saying that he knows his destiny and he knows what he needs to become, which that's that whole like magic part of it that leads into the defenders and all that stuff that I don't know about all that. But he's watching him and he says he knows his destiny and what he's supposed to become, and he actually walks out into the traffic acting like, a normal blind man, so because he knows Matt will try to save him, and he pushes him out of the way, and the truck crashes, and the chemicals spill in his eyes, and that's how he gets his super senses, his heightened abilities. So basically, Stick is the one who caused the accident for him to lose his sight. And I don't know, obviously I only read issues 1 through 5, I don't know if that's ever addressed, that he finds out that Stick is the cause, but like, they already have tension between them and they don't like each other a lot. He says that Matt failed and Matt's pissed at him because he disappeared when he was a kid and he was like a new father figure right after his dad died. But that's a heavy thing that you don't see. It wasn't in the show and it wasn't in the movie. And that was pretty heavy. Another thing I noticed is where he got his name. He got his name from bullies calling him Daredevil on the playground when they were beating the crap out of him because they were making fun of him because his dad told him that he didn't want him fighting or doing anything like him. He wanted him studying, so he felt obligated to not fight back. So they were basically calling him a wimp and calling him Daredevil. Which I kind of like. And his dad's nickname as a fighter was Battling Jack Murdoch, not Jack the Devil Murdoch. I kind of like his dad's nickname being the Devil, which is why he uses that name when he gets older and becomes Daredevil. I'm not really a huge fan of like the randomness of them just calling him Daredevil. Like, it's not like he was trying to do something Daredevil-ish and like failed because he's blind or he's a kid or whatever. Like, it's like they just came up with a random name to call him as they were beating the crap out of him that doesn't really make any sense, and then that stuck with him his whole life, so he ended up using it as he got older. I don't know, that's just nitpicking right there. Anyway, so back to the comic book. The artwork is fantastic. The storyline flows well. It gives you a lot of heavy stuff to keep the main character his drive to become who he is. He doesn't don any type of suit until the end of issue 5. And it's just so funny when the show started on Netflix and everybody was complaining that we didn't get his black suit until like the last episode. Basically, the first season was Man Without Fear. So it made sense that we didn't get the suit. I'm surprised we got Kingpin so early on in the show, because Kingpin doesn't really even show up until the middle of these 5 issues, and doesn't really even become a full-blown character until the last issue when Daredevil foils some type of plan that he was trying to do, and then he learns of him and says that it's going to be a problem. Another thing is he kills like a lot. Like the first one, he's chasing down the thugs that murdered his dad, and he's taking them out one by one, like beating them up, not killing them. And he tracks the last one to a strip club, and the guy's sitting in the strip club with all the strippers around him, and Matt breaks through the window and grabs him and tries to pull him out the window, and all the strippers, all the ladies, like attack him So he's like fighting off all these strippers, and one of them gets knocked back and falls out a window of like 6 stories up, and he hears her body crunching on the pavement below, and then he shows him running on the rooftops, like talking in his head, saying, "No, no, I can't believe that happened." And that's when he decides that because he's a lawyer, because he's fighting for justice, that it's not okay to kill, even though it was an accident. And that's fine and dandy, okay? So it was an accident, so now he's decided he's not going to kill anyone. But then the rest of the series, he actually continues to kill people, like, willingly. So it was a little bit of a conflicting, like, oh, I'm not going to kill anyone, and then he just does. Like, when he's tracking the girl, Mickey, that he meets in his old gym, and then he's, like, working out with her every night and everything to keep her out of trouble, and then she gets kidnapped. When he's tracking her down and he's fighting the final dude, has the girl, the dude shoots at him, and he just keeps knocking the bullets back, and he keeps saying, "I don't want to kill you, I don't want to kill you, let her go," and then he doesn't let her go, so then he knocks one of the bullets, and it goes straight through his head and blows his head off, and he doesn't even bat an eye. I'm okay with that, but if that's the direction you were going to go, make up your mind. Don't tell me at the beginning, "Oh, I'm not going to kill, it's not right," and then just do it anyway. That's bad writing. Like, characters that I would have liked to have seen, I feel like Wesley in the show, the Netflix series, was a very high-end Lark. A Lark is a character in the Man Without Fear story arc that is like Kingpin's right-hand man. He's always right beside him, but he's a brutal, brutal murderer. Like, that's what Kingpin says, is killing to him is nothing. Like, it's just like any other day. So he sends him out to do his dirty work because he knows he'll get it done. So he sends him to go get the girl, which is who Daredevil fights at the end and ends up killing with the bullet. He also gets, like almost everything shot for shot is in that show. They twist some stuff to make it work, which is fine. Obviously, live action, you got to do that. But if I have to say, thank God there was no... Elektra did show up in the series, and I didn't mind her. She wasn't in a lot of it. She was only in one issue, and it was kind of loose. There wasn't a lot of like, why did Matt fall in love with her? It was just like she was there, and then Matt was in love with her. Like, there wasn't a lot of build up to that, and then there wasn't a lot of drawn out. Like, it was just like, she said, "You're too good for me, I'm gonna leave, and there's nothing you can do about it," and then we didn't have to worry about her again. So that was cool, setting her up for her own story arc later on, but not convoluting or taking away from the origin of the Man Without Fear, who we're here to read about. Like, that's one of my complaints in the Daredevil Netflix series, is that in the original movie, the Ben Affleck movie, is they heavily focused on Elektra and took away from Daredevil becoming who Daredevil is, which I guess she had a lot to do with that, you know, bringing out his craziness and showing him that he should be running on rooftops and beating up bad guys. But I don't really even know what I'm complaining about anymore. But she wasn't bad in this series. I enjoyed the I think it was only maybe one issue that she was in. Pretty weird. Like, she went to New York and, like, just stripped down in an alleyway to get a bunch of dudes to come after her, like, and then just murdered them. So that was cool. She jumped off a cliff into an icy river, and then he followed her, and then she just left him. Kind of weird. Like, she always wants to kill the people that she's attracted to. I don't know. The last issue, he finally donned his black, like, just pullover bandana looking thing and his black hoodie with his white sneakers. I'm going to continue to read because I really like Daredevil, and this series was really good. It was everything that I thought it was going to be. Can't Like I said, you can't go wrong with Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. I'm really uber pumped for season 3 of Daredevil, which is coming soon, like real soon. I'm actually gonna subscribe back to my Netflix today. So, check out, if you have a chance, check out Daredevil Man Without Fear to get all caught up on probably a lot of what you're gonna see in the new season. If you haven't, like I said, subscribe, like, share to the Suicide Moses Productions channel. I got stickers. So if you want any stickers, my email's on here. You can message us through SoundCloud. You can message us on our Twitters. You can message us on YouTube. You can get a hold of us. We'll send you out a sticker. It's free. You stick it somewhere. It's basically like a business card. I hope you enjoyed this. Next week, I'm probably finally going to review my all-time favorite comic book series, Seven to Eternity. It's an ongoing series. We're right in the middle of it right now, so it's going to be a spoiler-free review of Seven to Eternity. I'm going to do my best not to give away too much to you guys because I want you guys to read it, get caught up with me, and then I just got my new issue this past week. I haven't even read it yet. I'm holding off for some reason because I know it's going to be another month until I get the next issue. So look forward to that. The next Strange Planet podcast will be on Wednesday. You can check that out. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good Sunday and a good rest of the week.